Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another wonderful tasting with a virtual tasting society. My name is Vadim Perlovsky, and today we're excited and honored to welcome Nikka Distillery, Nikka Whiskey. Joining us from Japan is Emiko and Kuma. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for making the time to be with us. So we have an extensive lineup. Our friends at Hodling were able to connect us for this tasting and help us acquire some of these bottles. We have 8 expressions for us to taste tonight. So we're super excited to learn about Nikka, learn about the Japanese style of whiskey, and learn from you. Please tell us about yourselves, tell us about what you do with the brand, tell us about Nikka and everything we need to know.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Kuma. I'm a regional manager for US market, and Emiko here is leading the global PR and education. So we are here to tell you about the brand and also about the doing the session around tasting. Firstly, I'll lead you through the a history part. It won't be too long, just as you're excited to have a tasting. So it's just 10 to 50 minutes before we do the tasting, and I'll pass on to Emiko, and she will lead all the tastings with you all. So let me share my screen now. Just a moment. Can you see my screen?
That looks good.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we are here. We're Nikka Whisky. Nikka is founded in 1934. So last year we had a 90th anniversary. So we have quite a rich history, and founded in Hokkaido, which is the north part of Japan. And our founder is called Masataka Taketsuru. Maybe you have Taketsuru bottle in front of you, and that's our name of our founder. Head office is located in Tokyo, and we have two main distilleries in Yoichi, which is a small town in Hokkaido, and also Miyagi-kyo, which is the distillery in Sendai, 1.5 hour from Tokyo, north side of Japan. And not only whiskeys, we also produce brandy, gin, vodka, shochu, and cider. And outside of Japan, we also have subsidiaries, which is called Ben Nevis Distillery in Scotland. So this is the distillery and aging cellars we own in Japan. As you can see, we have 4 distilleries, not only in the north, but we also started making grain whiskies in southern part of Japan. And we have aging cellar in Tochigi, which is fairly close to Tokyo. And we do kind of blending maturation in this cellar. So first, when we talking about Nikka Whisky, I want to tell you about our founder called Masataka Taketsuru. He is well known as a father of Japanese whiskey. The reason is that he was the first person who went to Scotland to learn about whiskey and brought the authentic whiskey into Japan. So that's why we call him as a father of Japanese whiskey. Let me talk to you about Masataka's life. He was born into a sake producer, so Japanese sake producer in 1894. And he learned chemistry at the university. So like he kind of learned how to make sake, how to make spirits in the university. And after that, he joined the company called Setsu Shuzo. Setsu Shuzo was at the time making spirits and also like kind of making the whiskey as well. But like it was just a whiskey at the time. We called it just the imitation whiskey. It was just a spirit adding the whiskey flavor, so it wasn't as authentic as the what we see as a whiskey. at the time. And there was an ambition to create authentic whiskey, bring authentic whiskey in Japan. And after Masataka joined the company, he was very well talented. So the company sent him to Scotland in 1918 and to learn about whiskey making. So that was part of the history of Masataka when he was young. So just at the age of 24 years old, he was sent to Scotland by himself and started to learn about whiskey making. However, his journey wasn't that easy. He just brought his graduation certificate in English, translated into English, and he went just with that paper to Scotland. One interesting thing is that before going to Scotland, so he went by ship. Then he first went to San Francisco to learn about winemaking through his old friend from Japan, and after that he went to New York and he went to Liverpool by ship. So that was a journey into Scotland. So this is the matriculation of the Glasgow University. So with his certification, he successfully went to be enrolled at the University of Glasgow and started whiskey making. And he met the professor called William, and with his help, he also managed to learn whiskey in the actual distillery. So within his time in Scotland, he got apprenticeship at 3 distilleries. One is called Longmorn. The second one is Bowness. Third one is Hazelburn. So what he learned through these 3 distilleries was that at Longmorn, he learned how to make the malt whiskey, and at Bowness, he learned how to make a grain whiskey. And finally, at Hazelburn, learning the malt whiskey, but he also learned the blending skills through his time in Hazelburn distillery. Through his time, he made a note, very extensive note, and one interesting one is the picture on the right is the pot still in the Yoichi distillery, and on the left part is his sketch of the Hazelburn pot still. So you can see the pot still, the actual pot still he made in Yoichi, Hokkaido, was pretty similar to what he had seen in the Hazelburn distillery. And through his time in Scotland, he also enjoyed his personal life as well, and he met a wife called Rita, Jessie Roberta Cohen. She's Scottish, and actually her sister was also studying at the Glasgow University, and he met Rita through her sister, and he quickly fell in love with her. And after 2 years, he married to Rita and immigrated to Japan in November after 2 years. And you can see on the photo, they don't look as happy as it should be. This is because international marriage wasn't that common at the time. So not many people were happy with their marriage. But through time in Japan, they really enjoyed their personal life as well, as you can see. north part, Hokkaido is quite famous with skiing. So they enjoyed skiing, and they went to some sightseeing spot as well. And through Nikka's history, Rita's was very also contributed to Masataka's business. So through her life in Japan, he did a teaching of English and also the piano. She was well talented with piano, and she also connected. So she taught piano lessons and English to the rich people, and also that really helped Masataka to be connected with investors to create the distillery. So her involvement was very important for our Nikka's history as well. So back to Masataka's history. After coming back to Japan, he quickly wanted to make the authentic Japanese whiskey. However, at the time, Setsushuzo, because of a different condition in Japan, they were not ready to make the whiskey making, because whiskey making takes time and it is quite a huge cost for them to invest in. And actually, his dream to make authentic whiskey didn't come true at Setsushuzo, so he left Setsushuzo in 1922. And after 1 year, he joined the Kotobukiya, which is now called as Suntory. Maybe you know Suntory, the company called Suntory. And he was the person to build Yamazaki Distillery with the founder from Suntory. And after a 10-year contract at Kotobukiya, he left the Kotobukiya company. That was because he wanted to create the distillery, same climate, same condition as what it is in Scotland. So Yamazaki distillery is located in between Osaka and Kyoto, which the climate is not similar to the one to that in Scotland. So he was happy to produce the authentic Japanese whiskey in Yamazaki, but his ambition was still to create the distillery in a different location. So that's why he became independent. And after becoming independent, he established the company called Dai Nippon Kaju, which is now called as Nikka Whisky in Japan. You can see the apple image here. So Dai Nippon Kaju, in English, it's called the Great Japanese Juice Company. So as you know, whiskey making, it takes time. So in order to set up a company, he had to do something different. And Nikka started as an apple juice company. Some of the interesting stories. And the Great Japanese Juice Company, Dai Nippon Kaju, was shortened to Nikka, as you can see on the red part, Nika, Nikka. So that's part of the history, not why we call Nikka Whisky as a company name now. Okay, so after the establishment in 1934, he started distillation in 1936, after 2 years setting up the company. Then on 1940, his ambition became true. So it was the first launch of the bottling of Nikka whiskey. So in 1940, he managed to launch Nikka whiskey. And on 1952, the company name was changed to Nikka Whisky. So that is the history of Nikka. And this is the 4 key points which he defined as a authentic Japanese whiskey. One is the location similar to Scotland. Second is the variety of the malt whiskey. Third part is the grain whiskey distilled in the coffee stills. And final one is the blending skills. So firstly, we'll talk about the location and the variety of malt whiskey. Now I'm handing over to Emiko, and we will talk about these 4 points during the tasting at the same time.
So thank you, Kuma. So hi, I'm Emiko. So I'm now dedicated to the education, conducting masterclass like this. But today I'm not feeling good, so my doctor recommended me not to drink whiskey. So I just talk. So based on the Masataka's thought, he built 2 distilleries, and also he tried to make malt whiskey. So this is the Yoichi distillery in winter. It snows a lot. So have you ever been to Japan or have you ever been to Yoichi? No, nobody? Maybe nobody? Not yet.
I've been to Japan, but not to but not in that area.
Uh-huh.
I've been to Kasukabe and Tokyo.
Kobe. So who been to the Yoichi distillery? Only once. When? You are me.
2019, right before COVID pandemic. Yeah.
So since then we renewed the museum and a lot of changes. So if you have a chance, please come once again. Okay, let's go back to the slide.
Sorry, Kuma, I kicked you out so that we could see the participants. If you don't mind sharing your screen again.
No problem.
Also, I shared a photo of the 8 bottles that we're tasting today. Can you give us the order? We're going to line them up because a lot of us have 8 glasses in front of us, so we can do a side by side. You mentioned we're going to start with the Yoichi no age stated, the single malt, and then go on to the Miyagikyo single malt, and then Yoichi non-peated.
Yeah.
Miyagikyo.
May I share the screen? May I share the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Kuma, you can continue.
Okay.
Either one of you can share the screen.
Okay. So the Yoichi distillery was built in 1934 at the same time with the foundation. So this is a very cool place. Average annual temperature is 46 Fahrenheit. And here we are making only malt whiskey. Next. So this is the actual distillery. It is very close to the ocean. And the Yoichi River is a water source. So the distillery is located only 1 kilometer from the coast. So during the maturation, sea breeze deliver some blinding hint into the whiskey. Next, please. And this is winter again. Next. It's summer. It is like this. In winter, our warehouse are covered by heavy snow, so it's not easy to take out casks. And the biggest future at the Yoichi distillery is its distillation. So Yoichi, we still continue the coal-fired distillation, which used to be the common practice in Scotland, but it's now all gone. So if you look at this slide, back to the you will find some small paper ornament. This is called the shimenawa. As Kuma mentioned, Masataka is from the sake brewing family. So in Japan, many sake producers put some ornament called shimenawa, wishing for the quality and safety. So we respect this tradition. So every new year, the shimenawa will be renewed. And so this is the coal fire distillation. So pot still are heated by direct coal fire. So it is not easy. So especially not easy to control the flame. So, and also our classman feed coal for every 7 or 8 minutes. So it is a very tough job. And pot still are like kettles on the campfire. So the wash inside the pot still are heated by very high heat. And that makes a burnt or toasty heat. So as a result, Yoichi single malt tend to be very smoky. So let's try the first whiskey, Yoichi single malt. Non-age. Please be careful, there are two Yoichi. So one is the Yoichi, regular Yoichi, and also you find another Yoichi non-peated. So this time that we are going to taste normal Yoichi. So this is categorized as single malt whiskey and bottled at 45% ABV. So this is the single malt from the Nikka's first distillery in Hokkaido. And it has a distinctive smokiness and generated through the coal fire distillation. And at Yoichi, we use peatia malt. And as I mentioned, the sea breeze delivers some blinding hints. And let me explain the cask composition chart. So as you might know, every whiskey from Nikka is a blend of whiskey components from different casks. So double circle means a lot of influence. And the medium influence means, and also light influence, and the close means none. So in this case, Yoichi single malt has a lot of whiskey influence from the New American Oak and ex-sherry bat, and no whiskey from ex-bourbon, and some whiskey from Rufeo and Remain, which are the casks. All the casks are originally made from American oak. So if you smell, it has some pleasant peaty notes and also some fruitiness like banana, tropical fruit. And if you sip, you will find a rich maltiness and then followed by the smoky, distinctive smokiness in aftertaste. So do you like it? So this is the peatiest expression from the Nikka's regular range, but our peatiness is not so peaty. So other ingredients, so our heavy peat is up to 70 ppm, the not so peaty. And also we blend the peaty malt and also medium peaty malt to make it well balanced. So our single malt Yoichi is peaty indeed, but very smooth and drinkable, I think. Do you like it?
It's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel I just added 2 drops of water, and it just much. I mean, it is cut. There was a little bit of a kick to it, but adding 2 drops of water for me just made it pretty damn perfect.
It's really agreed. Yeah, please fill a drop of water that open the flavor of the aroma. Okay, so please keep some so that we can compare with the other expressions. So let's move on to the Miyagi-kyo. So it is not easy to pronounce Miyagi-kyo. Miyagi is the name of the place, Miyagi. The kyo is a kind of the glen because Miyagi-kyo is located in the mountain. So the Miyagi-kyo means the Glen Miyagi. So Miyagi-kyo distillery was built in 1969. Next slide. So it was built in 1969 after 35 years of the Yoichi's foundation. And also this is also cool place. Its annual average temperature is 50 Fahrenheit. Here we are making malt whiskey and grain whiskey, and also gin and vodka are distilled at the same distillery. Next, please. So this is, while Yoichi is near the ocean, and Miyagikyo is near the in the mountain. And it is located at the junction of the two rivers, Hirose River and also Nikka River. So when two rivers with different water temperature meet, so that makes a lot of mist or foggy climate. So it is good for maturation, as you know. So this is one of the reasons Masataka chose the northern part of Japan. So both at the Yoichi and Miyagikyo distilleries, Nikka's angel share at Nikka is around 2 or 3% annually. It is almost the same as Scotland. So if you look at some distillery in the south, for example, Kabalan in Taiwan, they are making good whiskey as well, but the location is very hot and humid. So according to the person from Kabalan, their angel share is around 20% something. So it is no longer angel share, but devil share. They lose a lot of whiskey. So luckily our distillery is located in the north in a cool place. So we can save the evaporation, and we can, it allow us for the longer maturation to make delicate whiskey. Next slide. And this is the water source, Nikkawa, the one of the two rivers. So Masataka wanted to find the second.
Give me a little feedback on your microphone.
I think it's on Kuma's microphone.
There we go, muted. I think that should be better.
Okay, let's continue. So Masataka, the founder Masataka, was trying to find the good place for the second distillery. So he assigned Takeshi, Masataka's nephew and adopted son, to find the location. And Takeshi explored many places across the country and came up this river. So Takeshi took Masataka to this place, and then Masataka tasted water from the river, and also he had a whiskey at the time. He diluted the whiskey with river water and tasted. Then he soon decided to build a distillery there because of the quality of the water. So in Japan, I think most distillery, not just Nikka, the water to make whiskey is soft water. I think the quality water is one of the decisive factor to make to decide the taste of the whiskey. Then next, so it snows also in the winter as well. And these are pot still at Miyagikyo. So pot still at Miyagikyo are much taller and larger and with different shape. And they are heated by indirect steam. So later we will show one more slide to see the comparison between the Yoichi and Miyagikyo. So let's try the second whiskey, Miyagikyo. This is also single malt and bottled at 45% ABV. So this is a single malt from the Nikka second distillery in Sendai, northern part of island. And it has very fruity and floral aroma brought by the indirect steam. So it is not coal-fired distillation. So it is not smoky at all. And for Miyagi-Kyo, we tend to use the less peaty malt. That's why the single malt Miyagi-Kyo has fruity and aroma, fruity and floral, and also gentle. And also, if you look at the cask composition, it has more influence of the whiskey from eggshell bud.
So the difference between this one that I have and this one is 55% and this one is 45. Is that the only difference?
No, the recipe is very different. So for every whiskey, our blender choose different whiskey batches to make unique flavor.
Okay.
So the whiskey at 50 bottled at 55% is limited edition, only available at the distillery shop.
Yes.
So based on each concept, also the basic style should be similar, but the bottle you have is focusing on the particular type of angle.
Gotcha.
Can you read the label? Miyagi-Kyo.
It's in Japanese, so no.
No.
Google Translate is your friend.
Maybe you will find some small English name somewhere. Yeah. Maybe Syrian sweet or fruity and rich and malty and soft.
Well, yeah, it says fruity and rich on the bottle.
Fruity and, yeah. So fruity and rich version is the blend of whiskey using a more estery with estery hint. So focus on the freshness.
Okay. So I think I'm finally understanding what's going on here. So it says single malt Miyagi-Kyo. But that's because it's distilled at the Miyagi-Kyo distillery.
Yes.
Okay. I learned something today. Excellent.
Okay, so let's go to the next slide.
So both of the first two expressions we tasted have a slight peatiness to them, correct?
Yes, but Miyagi-Kyo Yoichi is peatier.
Yeah, of course. But this had like a finish of a little bit of smoke on the back palate.
Yeah, so smokiness and also peatiness are often confused.
Yeah.
So for the Yoichi, the peatiness comes from the ingredients, of course, but smokiness comes from the qualified distillation. And if you feel some smoky or peaty notes from Miyagi-Kyo, it comes from the ingredients.
Okay, thank you.
Because for the Miyagi-Kyo, we do not use the coal fire, so it never becomes the smoky due to the distillation. So we have a lot of diversity factors. So this is a making method from ingredients, mashing, fermentation, distillation, maturation. So we are doing a lot of continuous experiments in every making process, such as using malt of the different peat level. And also we are using different yield cultures and the fermentation period and distillation method and the cask types and the aging conditions, etc. So next slide. So when we started at the Yoichi, we used to have a local barley and local peat and the local wood to make casks. But in mid-70s, we shifted to the outsourcing because of the capacity. So now we are importing the peated malt mainly from Scotland. So we have several suppliers across the globe. And next. And as for the peat level of the malt, we are making whiskey using a non-peated, light peated, medium peated, and our heavily peated is, as I mentioned, up to 70 ppm, not too peaty. And also, we are doing this at both distilleries. So let's try another Yoichi whiskey. Let's taste another whiskey. Here we find a Yoichi non-peated.
We're now on to the unpeated limited edition. That one?
Yes.
That's
Kuma,
a tiny bottle.
Can you show the slide of the limited edition? Sorry. Yes.
Here we go.
So back to the previous one. So this limited edition comes from the Nikka's Discovery series. So it was a series of the limited edition highlighting Nikka's various experiments in every making process. It started in 2021 and it lasted, and it was a 3-year series. So in 2021, we highlighted the diversity of ingredients. Next slide. So there were Yoichi non-peated and Miyakyo peated. So when it comes to Yoichi single malt, people always imagine something peat because it is a typical style. But this Discovery series is trying to overturn the preconceived image of the both distilleries. So it was the very first time to make Yoichi single malt only using non-peated. So if you, and also this is bottled at 47% and non-chill filtered. So I think you will smell like some very fruity aroma, like a pineapple and also banana. And if you sip, very mild and malty flavor, but Yoichi non-peated is still smoky. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So it was
is all I gotta say.
So it was very interesting project because even for me and for my colleagues, it was very first time to make single malt non-peated. So after we learned a lot that the original style of the Yoichi single malt is smoky. So peat level doesn't matter. So smokiness is Yoichi's primitive style because of the coal-fired distillation. And on the contrary, Miyakyo single malt peated is bottled at 48% and it is also non-chill filtered. So, as I mentioned, generally speaking, Miyakyo is made from the less peaty malt, but this product is on purpose made from the peatier malt. So it was a very complex blend to highlight the Miyakyo's fruitiness, but elegance, and also a distinctive peatiness. I think the blender struggled a lot to finalize this liquid because combination of fruitiness and also peatiness is not so easy to make. But I think it is very well made, very elegant and complex, rich, and peaty, but soft, round. What do you think? Those unique pair of single malt.
They're very, very good, both of them, and for different reasons, but they're very good.
Yeah.
I'm generally I like peat. The more peat, the better. And I think this is very nice, and it has very a lot of sweetness from the fruit. I mean, so yeah, no, really, really well.
So it's very still delicate, not just peaty, very delicate, a lot of nuance.
That's a good word for it. It's a very delicate. You can, it's not offensive to anybody.
Yeah. If you have a very good dark chocolate, so it will go really well with this Ningakyo single malt peated. Please enjoy later with as a dessert after dinner. Okay, so let's go back to our diversity factors. Okay. And this is mashing and fermentation. So, and next slide. So, the yeast culture, yeast is one of the important thing to decide the taste of the whiskey, especially aroma. So 2 years ago, we released another pair of the limited edition from Nikka Discovery series. They were Yoichi and Miyaikyo aromatic yeast. Those whiskey featured the unique aroma generated through the fermentation process. So Nikka has 100 of yeast cultured, cultivated in-house. That is called NDCC, the Nikka Distillery Culture Collection. So normally 5 to 10 yeast culture are regularly used for the regular production. But from time to time, our blenders pick some unique yeast to obtain the unique aroma. That becomes the accent of the complex blend. And next. And also we try different fermentation period. So at the Miyagi-kyo distillery, we spent 3 days generally. But at Yoichi, we spend 4 or 5 days to make the liquid richer, to obtain a richness from the ingredients. And next. And distillation, it is a very key. So let's see the next slide. So this is a comparison of the distillation at Yoichi and Miyaikyo. So as I mentioned, Yoichi pot still direct heated by coal fire. Pot stills at Yoichi are shorter and smaller and with descending line arm and heated by a high temperature. So in this type of pot still, most flavoring compounds in the vapor from the wash directly transfer to the condenser to be chilled. But on the other hand, the pot stills at the Miyagi-kyo distillery are much taller and larger and with barrel neck and ascending line arms. And they are heated by indirect steam at lower temperature. So in this type of pot still, a lot of reflux happens within the pot still. So heavily flavoring compounds in the vapor will be redirected and fall into the pot still, and only light characteristics will be extracted and to be chilled in the condenser. So as a result, new make from Yoichi pot still become richer and stronger, while new make from Miyagi-kyo pot still become lighter, fruitier. So everything is intentionally designed differently to make a beautiful contrast between Yoichi and Miyagi-kyo. This is what Masataka aimed to widen the variety of malt whiskies in-house. Next. And after the distillation, whiskey is filled into the casks and matured in the warehouses. Next. And as I mentioned, Yoichi and Miyagi-kyo, they have the different aging conditions. While Yoichi is near the ocean, The Miyagi-kyo is in the mountain. So no sea breeze at Yoichi, at Miyagi-kyo. Next. And next. And as for casks, so many people are very curious about the casks and what kind of cask. They ask what the cask Nikka is using. But our answer is not so simple, not so easy. So next slide shows our typical type of casks. So ex-sherry, so it is of course imported from Spain. So nowadays it's not easy to secure the good sherry bag because of the popularity of the whiskey from sherry casks. So it is a very competition over the sherry cask among the competitor producers. And next type of cask is called panchon. Back to the slide. The panchon. So panchon is some shorter but broader, but it's very common type of casks to mature the whiskey. And the hogshead and the bourbon barrel, they are shorter and smaller. So generally speaking, so whiskey in a smaller cask matured faster. But these four casks are just examples. But we are also making whiskey using a mizunara. So mizunara is from Japanese oak. So at the foundation in Hokkaido, we used to use mizunara because it was the only available wood at the time. But later we found that American oak is more stable in terms of quality and quantity, and also easy to handle. So our majority of cask is all from the American oak. But we still have a small mizunara cask as part of the experiments. And also we are making whiskey using French casks, French oak, and also other European oak like Hungary. And also maybe, I don't know, but our blenders and the plasma are trying a lot of different casks to widen the flavor profile. And next. And the Nikka whiskey had 3 cooperages. So Yoichi and Miyagi-kyo, and also we have Tochigi aging cellar. So Yoichi and Miyagi-kyo, so all the casks to mature malt whiskey is maintained within the distillery. But the grain whiskey distilled at Miyagi-kyo is matured at the Tochigi aging cellar. So we think the cask management is very important. That's why we have 3 cooperages, and we do a lot of craftsmanship, are doing the tough job every day. Next. So, as I mentioned, the Nikka is doing a continuous experiments in every making process that result in a wide variety of whiskeys. And next tasting is a good example and also good fruit of our variety malt whiskey. So Taketsuru pure malt. So pure malt means a blended malt whiskey. So while single malt is from just one distillery, so blended malt is whiskey blend from the more than one distilleries. So Taketsuru pure malt is a combination of malt whiskey from Yoichi Distillery and Miyagi-kyo Distillery, and it's named after our founder, Mr. Taketsuru. So if you look at the cask composition chart, it also has beautiful influence from the sherry casks. So if you smell, you will find the pleasant peatiness from maybe Yoichi, and also the fruitiness and estery hints from the Miyagi-kyo. and also rich and also creaminess brought by the skillful blending and smokiness from Yoichi's coal-fired distillation and also beautiful sherry cask notes. It is a very well balanced, and it is ABV is 43. So Yoichi Miyaikyo single malt is 45. So just 2% difference, but that makes difference. So it is smoother and very milder and quite very balanced. It is kind of the masterpiece of skillful blending and also the good combination of the Yoichi and Miyaikyo single malts. How do you find it?
I find that the peat's more noticeable on this one than it was on the first couple of expressions, but it's very balanced and it's delicate. I like this.
Yeah, delicate. Yes.
I mean, I think all of these so far has been very delicate whiskeys. You know, I mean, it's easy to drink, but if you give them time, they will show up and show you a little bit different. I mean, I think this one, Vadim, I mean, I get the peat, but I don't get it as much as I did on the other one, but I kind of get it on the finish.
This one, all the different peat and smoke elements have tasted differently so far.
Yeah,
it's the first one that made me think of a cigar versus like a dirty, like a damp peat kind of thing.
Right.
So it's a different kind of smoke.
No, but it's really good.
But the creaminess really follows through. There was a creaminess on the Miyagikyo that I really liked on the nose, and you can really taste it here.
Right. I mean, Jane put it in the chat, right, that this one is so buttery on the front. And that's. I was thinking a little bit of a creamsicle. I mean, kind of that very soft vanilla ice cream with a little bit of fruity flavor to it.
Thank you. So you already tasted 5 malt expressions from Nikka. So Yoichi Miyaikyo regular expressions and a pair of the limited edition and also blended malt combination of Yoichi Miyaikyo. Okay, let's talk about grain whiskey this time. So let me confirm, you have the coffee grain and coffee malt, right?
Yes.
So you are all whiskey experts, so you already know what the coffee still is, but many consumers think that the our coffee grain is made from coffee beans. But because it sounds similarly, but actually this is a different spelling. So coffee still is an old type of column or continuous still, and named after its inventor, Mr. Coffee, so Aeneas Coffee. So Aeneas Coffee is an Irish inventor who developed this coffee still. So the first generation of coffee still was applied for the patent in the 1830s, and it was granted in 1831. So it is kind of the antique, outdated machine. So it is not efficient to make pure alcohol at all, and very difficult to operate. And also it's time consuming to clean after use. But coffee still can retain more flavors from the ingredients. Next. So as Kuma explained, Masataka learned whiskey making in Scotland, and he had apprenticeships at 3 Scottish distilleries. So one of them was Bowness. So Bowness was where the grain whiskey was distilled in a coffee still. So Masataka tried to master how to use the coffee still and how to distill grain whiskey. So according to his own notes, he said it was the most complicated, difficult machine he ever practiced. But he really valued the savory distillate coming through the coffee still with rich texture. Next. So later, later he became independent, and he decided to install his own coffee stills to make savory whiskies. So he himself went to Scotland and visited some manufacturer called Blair Limited in Glasgow and placed the order. The first still was installed in 1963, followed by the second one in 1966. So that means Nikka has more than 60 years of experience to operate coffee distillation. So it requires a lot of technique, but we can precisely control to obtain aimed distillate. So the coffee stills are now situated at the Miyagi-Kyo distillery. But at first, they were installed at the now closed Nishinomiya plant near Kobe. So in 1999, coffee stills were relocated from Nishinomiya to Miyagi-Kyo. Next slide. So these are the pair of our signature grain whiskies. So first grain whiskey to taste is Nikka coffee grain. So it is classified grain whiskey and bottled at 45%. So it has a round and the roundness brought by the coffee distillation. And as for the mash bill, so around 95% is American corn, and the rest is malted barley to get enzymes for mashing. And the coffee grain itself is a key grain whiskey for all our blended whiskey expressions. But also this bottle is to enjoy the beauty of coffee grain on its own. So actually the coffee grain whiskey is very popular especially in the US, because I think people in the US are very familiar with the sweetness and roundness of whiskey made from corn. So some people say that the Nikka coffee grain is like American Japanese bourbon whiskey. However, the biggest difference between the American bourbon and also Japanese, our Nikka coffee grain is type of casks. So as you know, the American bourbon whiskey must by law be matured in the new American oak casks only. However, we never use the new American oak for this expression because the new make brought by the coffee still is so delicate. So we rather not the beauty distillate overpowered by the distinctive cask influence. That's why we are only using the remade, recharred the old casks to keep the mellowness. So if you smell, it's like custard, coconuts. And the mouthfeel is very soft and round. So if someone who doesn't like a smoky whiskey, I really recommend this. And also this bottle attracts the rum drinkers and the non-whiskey drinkers as well. And let's compare with another grain whiskey, coffee malt. So this is also classified as grain whiskey and bottled at 45%. But its ingredients is 100% malted barley. So same distillation as a coffee grain, but different ingredients. And also this is matured in only use old casks to keep the mellowness. So some people may think that this coffee malt can be labeled as a single malt, but actually it is classified as a grain whiskey because the single malt whiskey must be distilled in a pot still. But this coffee malt is distilled in a coffee still, continuous still. So coffee malt is very kind of the tricky, very rare whiskey, using the grain whiskey, using a 100% malted barley. For me, it smells like a banana tart and also savory if you sip because of the maltiness. And the different aroma comes from different ingredients, but you will find some mutual mouthfeel, soft and round. These are all comes from the distillation in a coffee still. How do you find them?
I mean, honestly, the coffee malt, I think, is very sweet, very soft.
Yeah.
I mean, I could pour this over vanilla ice cream and
yeah, that exactly I wanted to recommend. So actually, I already have a coffee malt, a coffee grain in my fridge, and pour over vanilla ice cream at the dessert. So it's very nice.
Yeah. This is
Coffee malt is my go-to order at a Japanese restaurant because it's readily available, it's fairly priced, and it's delicious. And it goes really well with any kind of food. It's very light and sweet and delicious. It's interesting that you guys stick to this. It looks like you've adopted the Scottish rules for what is single grain and what is single malt. Is that just because as far as I know, Japan adopted their own set of rules for whiskey naming, or are you just using the Scotch Whisky Association rules?
So there are many different type of rules. So for the whiskey made in Japan is regulated by the liquor tax law, but with a more simple classification. But we follow the Scotch classification because our Japanese whiskey learned from the Scotch way. So I recommend to keep this chilled to enjoy with dessert.
So if you pour this over coffee flavored ice cream, you get coffee malt, coffee ice cream.
I prefer simple vanilla or vanilla with nuts like cashew and I enjoy the coffee malt with a touch of espresso in it. That enhance the savory hint. And with banana tart, banana chocolate, banana cake.
I think you keep saying banana, so now I taste banana on the coffee malt, and it's so good. And now I want something banana flavored. That's so good. I've never tasted the banana note on this.
I mean, banana split.
Yeah. Very good.
I'm so glad to see this one be more readily available. This is a bottle I always have to have. I know the grain was available for a while, and the malt was kind of hard to find. So this is a staple for me.
Yeah, but we are trying to sip more whiskey. So as you know, that we used to our whiskey was highly allocated, but now we are trying to make more whiskey and after the investment. So we are making distilling whiskey at full capacity and ready to ship more containers to the US.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, so let's go back to the Masataka's essential 4 factors. Okay. So last, the Masataka wanted to produce his ideal whiskey in Japan. And there are 4 essential factors. The last one is, of course, the blending skills. So these are Nikka blenders. So the picture on the left is our founder Masataka Taketsuru and his adopted son Takeshi. So they were the early blenders. And the picture on the right is Mr. Iseki, who took over the chief blender position from this year. The guy in the middle is a former chief blender. He is now a senior blender and still active. So Nikka's blenders are people who succeed the tradition. Also, the people who lead innovations. So these are blenders' role. So Nikka blenders are not just staying at the laboratory and just to blend whiskey. So they travel around the world. So one of their role is to select ingredients and casks together with the procurement department. So that picture on the top is the young blender selecting the cask in Spain. So it's a teamwork between the blenders and procurement to secure the good ingredients and good casks. It is very important. And as for blending, there are two types of blends. The first one is to develop new products. And the second one is to maintain and even improve existing products. And the last one is what we call the design the future. So whiskey you are sipping today was distilled in the past. But that means we should distill whiskey for the future and pass the whiskey down to the next generation for the next consumers. So that means, so our blenders have to think about what kind of whiskey will be needed for the future and what kind of whiskey they should distill now. This is what we call design the future. And let me explain the blending method. So when we decided to make a new product, so first we have some brainstorming between the marketing side and also blenders and also other class people concerned. And once we agree on the concept, our blenders first picture an ideal taste file in their mind. And as I mentioned, Nikka has a lot of different whiskey reserved. So different type of malt whiskeys and grain whiskey. So we have vast reserve whiskey. So from the reserve, our blenders select appropriate batches and sub-blends. And they repeat blending to achieve the aimed taste profile. So as for even the Yoichi regular single malt, which sounds a bit simple, it consists of roughly more than 20 different batches of the Yoichi single malt. So it is very important to secure the consistency in the taste profile of the finished product. And once the recipe is confirmed, but every recipe has to be updated at least once a year because all the whiskey reserved becomes 1 year older and the flavor will change. So, and also once our blenders use a particular type of whiskey, they have to find something similar to replace to keep the consistency. To do so, our blender need to know what kind of whiskey we have. So every year in early summer, our blenders visit our distilleries and collect samples and taste them all. So so now they have more than 3,000 different batches. So they taste them all in 1 month. So we call it the tasting marathon. So it is what they are doing now. There are only seven blenders. So they travel and collect samples and taste and update the taste and sample recipe. But they're very important process to to make good whiskey and also secure the consistency. I think the whiskey itself is much cherished by nature, but blending is the human art. That's why we are so proud of the Nikka blenders. So next tasting is to the Nikka's icon, Nikka from the barrel. So this is the blended whiskey, bottled at 41.4%. So this product was delivered with the concept of the small block of whiskey to deliver the richness like of whiskey, like from the barrel. From that name, some people may think that this is cask strength, but it is not cask strength, and this is blended whiskey, but bottled at a higher proof. So if you sip, you will find some strong alcohol, but still very aromatic, complex, like dark chocolate and leather, and also even leather tobacco. A bit strong, but if you sip, it is very complex and rich in mouth, but not so harsh, despite its higher proof. So this roundness and mellowness is supported by the process called marriage. And this is a very complex blend using more than 100 different batches. So after collecting 100 different batches of whiskey, the final liquid is transferred to the used puncheon for another few months. So during the few months, the complex components merge each other and becomes mellow. So this is the secret behind from the barrel's mellowness. And this is actually the top-selling whiskey from Nikka in foreign markets. So people really love this beautiful, complex, and beautiful, distinctive whiskey flavor profile, as well as the beautiful package. So this package is also specially designed based on the concept a small block of whiskey. So in other markets like Europe and Japan, outside the US, the bottle size is 50 cl because we wanted to make it smaller because a small block of whiskey. But when we released From the Barrel in the US in 1918, we developed special bottle in 75 cl because the 50 cl at the time was illegal at the time. But now the TTB started regulating. So now we are planning to bring the smaller bottle in someday. But anyway, this unique shape is very recognizable and very beautiful. It's like a perfume bottle. So it is also excellent in cocktails. I personally really love the whiskey sour using the Nikka from the barrel. So how do you find it?
I mean, this has been a long time fan for bottle for me. It's the first time I had a sample of it, I ran to the store and bought a bottle.
Yeah, actually, after the release in the US in 2018, this bottle was awarded by the top 20, number one in the top 20 whiskey from the Whiskey Advocate. It was a sensational debut. It's quite well balanced, refined, but very intense and distinctive.
I mean, this is one that I always add a couple of drops of water to, and it's just fantastic.
Do you ever disclose what's part of the blend? Do you ever disclose the distilleries that are in the blend?
So excuse me, sorry.
Do you ever talk about what distilleries are in the bottle?
Yeah.
It's a blended whiskey.
This is the blended whiskey. The main component is a coffee grain from Miyagi-kyo.
Mm-hmm.
And also we have a different type of malt whiskey from Miyagi-kyo and Yoichi. And we are using some outsourced whiskey from the other suppliers, including the Ben Nevis we have in Scotland.
Understood. And then Jamie had asked, do you disclose how long the components are married together?
How long?
How long are they married together before you release it?
I believe 3 months.
3 months. Okay. Thank you.
So the marriage takes place at the Tochigi plant, the north part of the Tokyo. How long in the barrel? Same as the marriage. So this consists of 100 different whiskey batches. So the maturation period in the cask that depends on the cask, depends on the batch. But all the whiskey is minimum age is 3 years old to satisfy the definition of whiskey in foreign markets like Scotland. But as you know, we cannot make a good whiskey only using a 3-year-old whiskey. So we blend 3-year-old whiskey or older, and also all matured whiskey, and also grain whiskey and different type of malt whiskey. So we do not stick to the particular ratio between the grain and malt, also Yoichi and Miyagi-kyo, but we do stick to the final finished taste profile of the finished product. That's why our blenders are great to keep it good all the time. And if you have a chance to go to the bar, please try the whiskey sour or boulevardier. So you already tasted eight expressions. So what is your favorite whiskey?
That's a good question. The poll is up. There's a couple of people who still need to vote, but what do you think was the group's favorite? You've done this enough times.
Yeah, I'm asked the same question all the time. But that depends on the mood and also what kind of food or some to pair with, and also the season. And also, I think the Nikka's expression are very unique, distinctive, like family members with different personality. But they all share the same house style, Nikka family member. So every bottle is very different, but all bottles are refined and well balanced. I think it's Nikka style. But my personal favorite is always the Nikka from the barrel. But also I really love the Yoichi and water, mizuwari, and not highball. Yoichi with still water plus ice when we enjoy sushi.
Okay. All right. Well, the group has voted, and I'm going to share the results now. It's kind of all over the board, actually. The Miyagi-kyo peated and the coffee malt took first place.
Yeah.
Wow. Closely followed by Taketsuru and Nikka straight from the barrel. That's unexpected.
So I unsurprisingly selected the Miyagi-kyo peated, but there was not a single bad whiskey among these. I mean, they were all good.
Did anyone have any surprises? I think for me, Yoichi single malt was the biggest surprise of how much I really liked it. I don't think I've had it before where I was very pleasantly surprised.
I agree. I'm with you on that one. That one was a good one for me as well.
Nice.
I mean, it's funny. I have a bottle of both of those coffee grain and the malt, and I don't remember when I had it. I did not necessarily care for it that much. But this time around, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So it's I guess I'm growing up, right, in this world. Right? I mean, your palate changes a little bit, and now I'm kicking myself for not picking up some of these other bottles that I saw at Costco that I was saying, I don't know about these guys, whatever, So because now I'm going to have to go find some of these. So no, very, very good, very good, very different from what I normally drink.
So this is Nikka's advantage because we have two different type of distillery that can make different type of malt whiskey, and also we have the coffee still. There's a great asset, so we can distill to very good grain whiskey, and also we have good blenders. So we are lucky to work with all the Plasman and also blenders.
Wonderful. So one of the things we do here as a tradition of ours is we raise a toast and cheers to the guest. So I'm going to invite everyone to turn on their cameras and get Jordan and Luke and Siddharth to join us. Hopefully you have a little bit of liquid left in your glass. I know we're right at the very end.
Oh.
We see some beautiful smiles here.
I have a whole bottle.
All right, there you go. Cheers with that. And we even got Siddharth. All right, great. Jordan, come back. So Emiko and Kuma, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
So we're going to say cheers to you and smile right to your camera.
Cheers.
Cheers. Kanpai.
Thank you.
And I think, I know, Vadim, we talked about it a little bit. So I happen to have 2 bottles that are, I believe, distillery exclusives. So I would like to offer up, do some samples to some people. So if Vadim, if you could spin the wheel for, I don't know, maybe 5 names, something like that, and then I'll make 5 sets. But let's put a rule on that you have to sign up for one of the next 2, 3 events, so Jane doesn't have to sit on these samples forever.
Perfect. Thank you, Henrik. I appreciate that. Let me
like 30 days.
Perfect.
30 days or I'm drinking them.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
That seems fair to me. Let me pull up everybody's names that had signed up for today, and we'll run the randomizer right now. Love that. Thank you.
I'm going to go back through these and taste more of the peated and the smoky ones again, but later. I didn't want to taste them too much because I was worried they would influence my palate.
They're actually very gently peated. I think it would be a really good peated expression for you to get to like what.
No, I did sip them, and I think they're going to be great. But what I wanted to say about the barrel, from the barrel one, is that I felt like this is a culmination of everything else that you do. There's a little bit of smoke in there, a tiny bit at the end, but it's got the creaminess of the coffee barrel, of the coffee still, and it's got some influences from everything else that you do. I just feel like that one sort of sums up everything that you do. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I like it.
Yeah, and I forgot to tell. So this year is the 40th anniversary since the release of the Nikka from the barrel.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, as she mentioned, Nikka from the barrel is a chunk of all what we are doing. It's a kind of soul of Nikka.
Awesome.
Yeah, when I didn't understand why you ordered it the way you did until I got to this one. And I realized, well, that's why. Because I feel like that's the summation of everything else that came before it. So,
thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
All right, let me share my screen real quick. Jane, can I ask you to take notes of who wins, please?
Sure.
Thank you. All right, make sure your name's on here. And as always, you should be here to win. All right. Had a couple of people jump off, but I think for the most part we're here. So, whoa, what's going on? Sorry. Can you still see it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I'm back. I can't see it. This is great. There it is. All right, I'm going to shuffle it. And then I'm going to run it. So we'll pick 5 winners. So your odds are good.
Henrik, you have a chance to win.
That's right.
I just want to point out that my name is the only name that is yelling.
That's how you sign up every time.
It's my fault. I get it.
Is Alexander on today? I don't think he was here today.
No, he wasn't here.
That's what you get. When he watches the recording, he's going to feel really bad.
You snooze, you lose.
That's right. Oh, Tim left like 2 minutes ago after I posted, "Don't leave, we're going to take a picture." Yet nothing.
Wah, wah, wah.
Somebody texted him that he won, but he lost. Oh. I saw Luke. He's here. Say something. Is Luke there?
I'm here. I signed up for the next tasting too, so you can throw my samples in for the writer's tiers.
Perfect. Good job. All right. Congratulations.
Thank
I don't know if I can get it in the box by Saturday.
Okay, no worries.
But sign up for we got Glenn Livet coming up, so that'll be a good one, and Balvini as well. We'll get it to you. Oh, so close. Is Mary here?
Yeah, Mary was here.
Is she still here? Oh, I think
she was here.
Well, all right, it's your call. Give it to her. I don't think Chris made it today. Jed, we hear happy children laughing in your background. I'm muting you. None of that here.
Hey, you can go ahead and remove my name. I'm like on here like once every 6 months.
You're good. Well, you have to sign up.
No.
You win. If you win, you should sign up.
And you just won.
Look at that. And you're here and everything. Congratulations. 2 distillery only exclusive samples coming your way. That's a good enough reason to sign up as any.
Jed's like, oh my gosh, I have to drink more alcohol.
I know, right? I got to twist his arm and everything.
Kate, I like you.
Oh my goodness. Look who won.
I won something.
Congratulations.
Make sure she signs up for one of the next few ones.
I hope so. I hope she signs up. She's been pretty good for us. How many are we at? How many more are we rolling?
Well, if we're not counting Mary because she's not here for the spin, we're at 3.
3? All right, let's do it. Liz is not here either. I don't see her.
No, she's not here.
All right. Your odds are getting good.
I might even win.
I know, right?
Oh, look at that!
Yes, I win.
We'll make sure to put her in your next sample kit. I'm going to remove you. I'm going to remove Edgar because he's not here. I'm going to try to run this up a little.
I think Lorelei's gone. Yeah.
Yep. Edgar's not here. All right, let's do this.
Hey, I gotta go put my kids to bed. I love you guys. It was nice doing this.
Night, Jed.
Bye.
Night, Jed.
So,
all right.
Is it
right.
Henrik or Henrik? Henrik? Is
Yeah.
Henrik, yeah.
John
maybe I'll send something to you because you won.
There you go.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. John, are you still here? John was here. Yeah, he's here. Yeah, he's muted and very much falling into his digital background. Perfect. Congratulations, John.
Henrik's a big rye guy. The more rye, the better. He just loves it. Hates high proof rye. That's what he always says.
Well, no. What if Henrik wants his own sample?
Actually, that's an interesting question. Does Nikka use rye at all in any of its?
No.
Right? We are making a little whiskey using rye.
Oh, you are? Okay.
But have you released?
It is not bottled solely. So 2 years ago, we released the blended grain whiskey called the Nikka the Grain. It was also under the Nikka Discovery series. It is the blend of all the grain whiskey we have. So as Kuman explained, we started making grain whiskey in the south, in the Kyushu. So we have the Satsumatsukasa and Moji distilleries in the Kyushu Island. They were originally for shochu making. But recently we started making grain whiskey, and rye is one of the ingredients we are using. So hopefully we'd like to introduce 100% rye whiskey and Nikka made rye whiskey in the future.
Wow.
Hopefully.
Okay. Interesting.
So, Emiko, can you tell us anything about this sessions?
Session is another blended mode, but components is from the outsourced whiskey plus Nikka. So like Bennevis and some Scotch whiskey plus Nikka. That's why the session.
Okay.
Well, that sounds really good.
It's good. It's good. Pretty good. Enjoy.
Do you ever do any other kind of grains that are not as popular? I know there's been some like rice distilled, and I know in Japan distilled rice is not considered.
Yeah, I know the rice whiskey is very controversial.
Yes.
Because it is not allowed to label as whiskey in Japan. As for Nikka, the main ingredients is, as I mentioned, corn, American corn, and malted barley, the coffee malt, and the rye, and also unmalted barley.
Okay, very cool.
So far, but I don't know the craftsman blenders making something unique in a hidden place. I don't know.
Do a 50-50 malted, unmalted barley and toss it in a coffee still, so you make like a really true Irish whiskey.
Right.
Do a single pot still Japanese whiskey to be the first ones.
Yeah. So we have a lot of different equipment, so we can make any kind of whiskey.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you have a lot to play with. Well, thank you so much. What should we be looking out for? Anything coming down the pipeline? You've had some interesting new releases kind of every year. You came out with Nikka Days as a mixer whiskey.
So we are as I mentioned, this year the 40th anniversary of the Nikka from the barrel. So you can accept something in the autumn.
Okay. Are we expecting a special whiskey or just a special bottle?
Let's keep a secret.
Okay, fair enough.
Sounds good.
Please keep your eye on the Hotaling website or Instagram. So we are thinking to make a news press release shortly. So.
Okay, very cool.
Any other questions? Thanks very much. I liked how you guys put this together with the your slideshow was really great. You really explained how the process worked, and it just was very comprehensive, and I appreciated it. So thank you.
I second that, Kate.
Yeah, that blending chart with all the different barrel colors
that was really
is probably the most brilliant graphic description of blending that I've ever seen. It was so helpful.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, Emiko, if you don't know, we kind of geeks when it comes to whiskey, so we love to see that kind of detail. So
yeah, I know, I know.
Really good to see.
Yeah,
the nerds are in the house.
Yeah, I know some blenders take their regiment very, very seriously. Like I've heard of some blenders just don't eat garlic ever because they're afraid it'll mess up their palate.
Yeah, same as at Nikka. So the blenders do not have curry and also garlic during until the Friday night.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
They can eat Friday night and maybe Saturday, but not Sunday night.
Wow.
Okay, so not before work day. Got it.
Yeah. Wow.
Amazing.
Well, now I just want to go have some Japanese curries. Is what I want.
I know. I want to go get a pork katsu.
Katsu is very popular now, right? Katsu and curry.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Thank you for being here with us. This was amazing.
Enjoy the meal and also enjoy the dessert with coffee grain or coffee malt.
Yes,
yeah, I'm gonna go get ice cream right now out of the freezer.
I know you visit the U.S. fairly regularly. Any plans to visit Southern California?
Last year I visited San Diego, but next visit is New Orleans for the Tales of Cocktails.
Okay. Well, if you ever come out to California, please reach out. We'd be happy to host you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Arigato.
Arigato. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.